Hello, my name is Christopher Rogers. I work with the Professional Development Services team as a technology resource teacher, and I'm actually working today with the digital curriculum team to help provide you with a Smart Notebook Basics training. Um, I have some food for thought. This presentation is homework. It is expected that you do this prior to showing up for the face-to-face training. The idea behind this is that we will get everyone on a level playing field as we show up, because I'm sure we have some advanced users and some basic users. Um, and we want to make sure everyone has the same basic elements and ideas of how Smart Notebook works before we try to dive into the things we'll be talking about during that day. You will need Smart Notebook software installed. If you're using a district laptop, you want to go through your TSR to have that pushed out to your device. If you don't already have it, you probably already do have it, but if not, ask them to push that out to you. You'll need that during the face-to-face training, and you'll also need it to follow along during the rest of this training video. The code that's here will actually allow you to install it on your own personal devices as well. Um, but if you are doing a district device, make sure you go through your TSR to have that done. I have a lot of content to cover, and as you can probably already notice, I'm speaking very quickly. Um, Please feel free to pause the video and rewind as many times as you need to, but I do need to go very quickly. I have about an hour's worth of content that I need to show you before our face-to-face training, and I'm doing that through these videos. And I do need to speak quickly in order to be cognizant of everyone's time. I'm not trying to give you guys a lot of extra work to do, but it is important that we get through the basics as quickly as we can before that day. But like I said, please rewind and pause as much as you need to. There will be checks for understanding throughout this Google form that I have, just to make sure everyone's with me. These won't be tough, but just to make sure that you're with me and paying attention and getting the basic ideas. And then there will be an important survey at the beginning of this that you already filled out. Actually, you should have already filled this out. But in order for us to receive those survey results, you do need to get to the very end of this video training and hit submit. If you do not submit the survey, if you don't submit at the very end of all these videos and these processing activities, the checks for understandings, if you don't hit submit, we won't get the information from you. And that's critical for us to be effective on our face-to-face day. The next thing I have for you is I'm going to jump right into some basic content. At the top of Smart Notebook, like I said, you should have already installed it by now. You could have paused it to done that earlier if you didn't already have it. But at the very top, we have all these shortcut icons. And the first section is called the Action Panel. These are all actions that you can do. The ones that are in yellow are ones that I have specific pages to show you later on. We have the back button and the forward button to advance slides. We can add pages, we can delete pages, and you'll notice if you hover over any of these up here in my actual Smart Notebook, it kind of gives you it tells you what it is. So it kind of gives you the idea. You can save. All your view options are here. You can delete items. You have a clipboard to copy and paste. Like I said, some of these things I will teach you later. And let's go down to the next section. The add-on panel, which actually I don't have this math one, I actually have the Smart Response icon on mine, but that just depends on when it was installed by your TSR, when you did it, which checkboxes you chose when you did the installation. But these are extra add-on things that I will address during the videos that you're going to be watching. The last section is called the tools panel, so that's right here. So these are all tools that you can use. We have pen tools and text tools, and basically you can click text and add text. You can click the pen and add pens, and I'm going to talk about the selector tool here in just a second. And shapes and erasers allows you to erase ink. You can fill objects in with a color there. So there's all that basic idea. And then at the bottom here, I want to show you this because it's very important. If you see any different icons on your Smart Notebook, or if you are looking at a friend or someone else's Smart Notebook, if you go visit their classroom and they have something up here that you don't have and you want it, like you probably don't have the screen capture tool, because I have added it up there for me, and I actually have the Smart Recorder icon up here as well. So these are things I have added to my shortcut icons, and you can do the same thing by going to the gear, which is actually up here at the top right hand corner, and when you click it, that allows you to add anything from this action section to your action panel. So find the things, you kind of have to explore on your own. What things do you use a lot and drag them up there? I use the screen capture a lot, and I use the screen recorder a lot, so I drag those. They're all in alphabetical order, so I go to Smart Recorder and screen capture. You basically drag it up there and find a spot for it and drop it, and it will put it up there, but I already had it on there, so it didn't let me drop it. But if I find a new one that I want, volume control, if I'm going to use that all the time, I can drop it just like that. Or if I don't want it, I can drag it back off. into this here, and it deletes it. If you want to customize the add-on section, which is right here in the middle, you click the second tab down, and you can pull these things on and off as you need for what, based on which ones you think you'll use the most. And same thing for tools, although most of the tools are already here, but you can take things off and then add them back later based on which ones you really do use often. So that's an important thing to understand here, is that gear to help you customize this whole shortcut icons panel. If you can't reach the top, like especially if you're working on a smart board in front of a classroom, sometimes it's hard to reach the top. You can actually hit this double arrow button, and it'll bring that whole menu down to the bottom. This is also good for younger grades that may not be able to reach the top, or maybe you don't want them to reach it, and you make sure you keep it at the top. It really just depends on how much the students are aware of what they do and how much they are interacting with those features up here, even though they can still interact with the screen even without all these options up here. So that's kind of up to you, that you can move this up or down based on that little arrow there. A couple more things. I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that your smart board in front of a classroom has gestures that you can use your hands to do, but I can't really teach that to you on here because I'm doing this from a laptop that's not connected to a smart board. But basically, if you tap a smart board, it's the same as a left click on a mouse. So it's just like selecting something with a mouse. If you hold your finger down on the screen, it'll pull up all the right click options and menus. So that's kind of interesting to know you have all these gestures that you can do. If you swipe your finger from left or right, it goes either to the next page in your presentation or back to the previous page. So that's fun. If you have an older smart board, which I think you guys coming to this screen probably all have newer ones, but we do have some schools that have some older ones. These ones in red will not work, so I leave this in my presentation to let them know. But if you have an older 600 series board, it won't work because you need two. You basically kind of need two fingers to do most of these. So if I pinch, I take two fingers on the board and bring them closer together. And if I'm on an object, it'll make that object pinch down, right? It'll zoom out and make it bigger, so I can either pinch or spread to zoom in or zoom out with two fingers. I can rotate with two fingers by having two fingers on the screen, and then rotating them around each other will spin the picture for me. Or I can throw an object, which is kind of fun too, if you take a circle and slide it across the screen and let go. But I can't demonstrate these things because I'm not connected to a smart board. But just realize that you can do a lot of things with finger and hand gestures when you are connected to a board, when you are up in front of the classroom. All right, one more slide here, then we'll take a break here. I want to make sure you understand what the selector tool is and what a marquee is and the drop-down menu. So I have a bunch of objects here on my screen. I'm going to go to my selector tool, which is the cursor, the little arrow right here. So I make sure I'm on that, and it should be on that when you first start. And basically that allows you to select any object that's on your screen. When you select an object, it gives you this box that goes around it, and that's called the marquee. So that's this word right here, marquee. And when you have the marquee, you have a green dot connected to the marquee that allows you to rotate your image. You have a white dot in the bottom right-hand corner that allows you to resize your object, your object. And there's also a drop-down menu that gives you a lot of properties that you can do. I mean, you can clone it, you can copy it, you can set the transparency, which is very cool. You can lock it in place so it won't move. You can flip it from left to right. So now he's facing the other way, right? So flip it back, or up and down. So you get the idea. There's a lot of properties that you can do here. I don't have time to explain all of them to you, but basically all these things that when you select them with the selector tool, this is text. Text can do the same thing. Shapes can do the same thing. This is ink that I wrote with a pen tool. Can all do the same thing, resize it, whatever you want to do. And even interactive tools that you get from the gallery that I'll show you during this presentation can be rotated and resized as well. And this is an interactive thing that comes with Smart Notebooks Gallery. So I want to make sure you guys all got that. So let's stop now and do a little processing activity.